with just 10 days to go until the election, yet another controversy. On Friday, FBI Director James Comey sent a letter to select congressional leaders announcing that the criminal investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server has been reopened. The decision to review the case was sparked by emails found during the federal investigation into Anthony Weiner, the disgraced former congressman and estranged husband of longtime Clinton aide Huma Abedin. Comey's letter was vague, and on Friday evening, Clinton called on the FBI to release all new information immediately. Now, her Republican opponent, Donald Trump, applauded the review, saying the system may not be so rigged after all.
American people deserve to get the full and complete facts immediately. The director himself has said he doesn't know whether the emails referenced in his letter are significant or not. I'm confident, whatever they are, will not change the conclusion reached in July. Therefore, it's imperative that the Bureau explain this issue in question, whatever it is, without any delay. So I look forward to moving forward to focus on the important challenges facing the American people, winning on November 8th, and working with all Americans to build a better future for our country.
The FBI would never have reopened this case at this time unless it were a most egregious criminal offense. As you know, I've had plenty of words about the FBI lately, but I give them great credit for having the courage to right this horrible wrong. Justice will prevail.
All right, with me now is Roll Call columnist John Allen and political reporter Lewis Nelson. They are both in Washington. Guys, couldn't wait to talk to you today. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Good morning.
All right, John, to start, does FBI Director Comey now have an obligation to expedite this review given its pertinence to this election?
You would think. I mean, the amount of publicity he's given this case over the course of the last couple of months is pretty incredible. He does so in the name of transparency, I guess. But one of the things we saw earlier this year is he went to testify before Congress based on the conclusion that the case was over. Then he released the FBI's notes on the case based on the conclusion that the case was over. And now 11 days before an election sends this mysterious note to Congress suggesting or not suggesting that Hillary Clinton might be in some sort of legal jeopardy based on what they found apparently on Anthony Weiner's laptop. There needs to be more accountability here, according to both campaigns.
All right, over 17 million votes have already been cast in several early voting states. Lewis, is this probe, if nothing new is released by November 8th, likely to impact the decision-making behind future votes? Or are minds about Clinton on this issue already made up?
I think certainly there's a lot of people for whom their mind is already made up. But if you're an undecided voter or somebody who is, just sort of settling on Hillary Clinton, somebody who, you're voting, I guess, for Hillary Clinton, this, might put some doubt back in your mind that, this was, I think, for Hillary Clinton, something that had been settled a long time ago over the summer in July, and she'd managed to finally kind of put this to bed, that this has sort of been reopened for her. Now sort of takes away that sort of path that she had been on, that glide path towards a presidency or towards a win on Election Day. She had sort of been in position, a lot of polls putting her up, 5-8 points somewhere in that neighborhood nationally. Now it seems like she's back in a fight a little bit, and she's got to get back to convincing voters that this email scandal isn't a big deal, and Donald Trump seems very, very eager to put this issue sort of back on the table.
John, in a letter sent to FBI staffers, Comey defended his decision to disclose the review, but also reiterated that they do not know the significance of the new email, saying that he didn't want to create a misleading impression. What do you make of that? Especially, again, since we have less than, 10 days, 9 days to the election.
Well, I think Comey's trying to protect his reputation. He knew by sending it out across his department that it would get out to the news media, just as he knew when he sent a letter to Congress. And in fact, basically says in the letter to FBI folks, when he sent the letter to Congress, he knew that would get out. This is, at the very least, a tremendously self-serving effort to cover his own rear end. in the event that somebody had come forward after the election and said that he'd sat on something. That seems to be what, at the very least, what Jim Comey is interested in right now.
Lewis, Trump had repeatedly made claims, we heard it all along, that the election could be rigged, and then Friday said maybe it's not so rigged after all. How does the FBI review change his narrative now in the home stretch?
Well, I mean, it sort of gives credence to the narrative that he's been pushing all along. This nickname, Crooked Hillary, sort of brings a whole new sort of line of attack back for him. It had been tough for him to sort of hammer Hillary Clinton over these emails. Not that he hasn't been doing it anyways, but when the FBI says, there's nothing criminal here, recommending against charges, now he gets to say, oh, well, maybe they are going to press charges against her. With 11 days before the campaign, the fact that his opponent, all of a sudden is back under investigation by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, gives him a pretty powerful hammer to sort of hit her with, campaign-wise, so to speak. And so I think that it sort of just strengthens the narrative that he's already been pushing, this Crooked Hillary line. He loves nicknames, and Crooked Hillary is one that he's going to be able to really hit her with even a little bit harder now.
Yeah, it gives him a boost in the final stretch. Guys, my colleague John Dickerson asked Vice President Joe Biden about Clinton's use of a private server in an interview to air on Sunday's Face the Nation. The interview was taped on Thursday before the FBI announcement, but here's what Biden had to say. Let's take a listen.
I don't think she understood the gravity of setting it up. She thought it was, this was okay to do. And then when this woman has been so battered over the last 30 years. I think then when faced with this is a problem, I think instead of just cutting it and dealing with it immediately, there's always a inclination to overthink it. But I really do believe my grandfather said. I think people reward you being straightforward.
All right, the vice president there. John, going back to the very start of the whole investigation, do you think Clinton has been straightforward?
No, not at all. I think the entire effort to circumvent federal record-keeping rules and regulations was not straightforward. I think the inability to discuss it in an honest way or apologize for it over the course of most of 2015 was not straightforward. I think there are a lot of places here. By the way, she's paid a political price for it, in that most of the American public doesn't think she's honest or trustworthy. So this is somebody who didn't do what Joe Biden just advised. And got to say, it sounded like he had a little enjoyment there, twisting the knife just a bit on basically himself calling her not straightforward.
All right, Lewis, final question for you. Looking at the down ballot races, North Carolina Senator Richard Burr slammed his Democratic opponent Deborah Ross in a press release Friday, tying Ross to Clinton. What's at stake here in the House and Senate races?
Well, Hillary Clinton had been able to devote a lot more time on the campaign trail to those down ballot races. You could see it if you watch her stump speeches over the last couple weeks. She'd been dedicating more and more time talking about down ballot races, appearing more with guys like Patrick Murphy running for Senate against Marco Rubio in Florida, people like that, trying to build up those down ballot Democrats to try to claw back some of that Republican majority in the House and maybe take over the majority in the Senate. Now, I think she maybe feels like she has to spend that time that she was devoting to down ballot Democrats to sort of defending herself. She's got to go back on the offensive a little bit. She'd been playing a little bit of a prevent defense on the campaign trail, sort of just trying to protect that lead that she has. Now she's got to get back out there and really keep making the case for herself, and isn't quite in a position to push those Democrats across the country in swing districts and swing races like she had been before. So we'll see how much time she's able to kind of push, how much time she's able to dedicate to these Democrats in House and Senate races, or whether she feels like she really has to take that time for herself now.
Yeah, I think we'll all be watching. All right, John Allen and Lewis Nelson, always good to see you guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, man.